It's not exactly breaking news that the Bush family, not big fans of Donald Trump, but it was fascinating nonetheless to see that George P. Bush, this is the nephew of former President George W. Bush, speaking at a GOP rally in Texas, kind of came out and said that both the former president, number 43, and former President George H.W. Bush, number 41, would potentially be voting for Hillary Clinton. Now, we already kind of knew that Bush 41 was going to vote for Hillary Clinton because he met with Democrat Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, who just sort of put it on Facebook. So, he kind of backed away saying, well, it's a speculation, but let's be clear. The Bush family is pretty tight-knit. It is sending a signal. Now, does it matter? Not very much, and I'll tell you why. First of all, hardly shocking. I mean, remember what Trump did to Jeb Bush in the primaries, low-energy Jeb and all that, and so not a lot of love lost there. And, of course, Trump also ran in a way against George W. Bush. He constantly criticized the Iraq War and the decision to go into Baghdad, as well as bringing up 9/11, which happened on George W.'s watch. But here's the larger picture. I don't think it matters. I think that Donald Trump is running against the Republican establishment as much as he's running against Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. This is a guy who, the GOP establishment didn't want him. They would have rather had Jeb or Rubio or even Ted Cruz. He's not an orthodox Republican. He's not an ideological conservative. He has a mixture of positions, many of which are populist. For example, unlike Paul Ryan, he wants to protect Social Security and Medicare, by which I mean not do any kind of scheme to privatize it or reduce the benefits, as many more or less government-minded conservatives would like to do. There are other areas where Trump would spend money in a way that traditional Republicans don't like. And remember, this is nothing new here. I mean, John Kasich just announced that he voted by writing in John McCain. Ryan voted for Trump, but basically just wants to talk about House candidates. If Mitch McConnell has said anything about Donald Trump lately, I haven't seen it. But here is the thing. Trump, who really sees himself as the head of a movement that is not necessarily part of the Orthodox Republican Party. It might take over the Republican Party if he won. It might be a breakaway faction within the GOP if he doesn't win. Trump doesn't buy into a lot of what the Beltway Republicans have stood for. He thinks that they've been weak. And if you look at the way the map breaks down, yes, because he's not a traditional conservative Republican, there are some reliably red states like Utah and North Carolina, others, where they're very competitive, or Trump might even lose. But at the same time, it's not impossible that Trump could pull off an upset in Michigan or Wisconsin or even Pennsylvania, where a poll yesterday showed him trailing by 4 points. Pennsylvania is always tantalizing for Republicans, always seems out of reach. That's because he has an appeal to white working class Americans, many of them fed up with the political system and fed up really with both parties, that Mitt Romney didn't have, that John McCain didn't have, that Bob Dole didn't have. So the strength is the same as the weakness. The fact that Trump is a different kind of Republican could help him crack what has been a Democratic lock on the Electoral College. He's still an uphill battle, to be sure. But it also hurts him in ways. But I think that he doesn't care. He doesn't want the Bush's support. He doesn't want the Bush family on board. He wants to run against the party they built. He wants to run against what they stand for. We'll see next Tuesday whether it works.